Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sandbox Wednesday stream. I'm Alex Flores, aka Kamisazi, joined here in Voice, Mind, Body, and Soul by Lucas is right. How you doing, Lucas?
I am doing quite wonderfully today, Alex. How are you?
Doing okay. There's stuff going on. There's lots of stuff going on, but
Always stuff going on.
we actually have like a condensed news segment because Panda kindly provided us with the news as a video. So
Hmm.
we're gonna roll it and
I'm excited to see it.
enjoy Panda's dulcet tones.
I was just going to say the exact same thing.
Is that what I think I said that right? I think I used that correctly.
Yeah. Did you get that from Harry Potter? Because I got that from Harry Potter.
Um, I feel like I probably knew it before I would have heard it in Harry Potter because I think it's
Fair enough.
something that's been said in like some old timey movies.
Okay.
But
Fair
I
enough.
don't
Fair
actually
enough.
know. I don't actually know where I know it from.
Who's to say?
Who's
Let's
to
roll
say?
it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the news of the week, where we're going to be giving you all the latest news and information that you need to know for this week. Let's go! First up, we still have the Season's Greetings event happening. You need to collect 200 EP to be eligible to get some of these amazing prizes, whether you are a landowner, avatar owner, or just open to anyone with zero investment. There are amazing prizes for you after you play some amazing games. Make sure to jump in and play these fantastic experiences. There are loads to choose from. So jump on in and play those games. The event ends on the 22nd of January. Path of the Legend event. So there's a prize pool for everyone. So play that. It ends on February 26th. So you've got some time. Next up are registrations for the Dr. Bumpkus Game Jam. Make sure to register if you would like to take part in this game jam, where the theme will be revealed once registrations close. There is a 100k sand prize pool, catalyst packs, and land up for grabs. All of the important information is in the page, as well as the prize breakdowns and what are the catalyst packs and key dates. Shibuya 109 Vox Edit contest closes on the 11th of January, so make sure to get those submissions in, create those amazing fashion booths, mixing metaverse and Shibuya 109 theme together. Make sure to read all of the guidelines, including the size guidelines, which are very important. Prize breakdowns for both regular and beginner category for this one. And all of the important dates, including when results will be announced. The live Vox Edit contest that happened on the Christmas special results should be announced between Wednesday the 10th of January to Saturday, 13th of January. Results will be announced over on the Vox Edit Twitter at Vox Edit, as well as in the Discord in the Vox Edit announcements. For our mention of the week, we are going to be mentioning just a couple of artists that placed within some of our Vox Edit contests from last year. So firstly, and apologies for the mispronunciation, Cianli, I'm sorry. Congratulations, you are one of our mentions of the week. Everybody go check out their socials so you can see the amazing assets that they are creating. This is one from the Autumn Vibes Vox Edit contest where they placed. Another amazing artist to go follow for the mention of the week is Kimson, who created this fantastic poster for the Mad Bulls Vox Edit poster contest. So go check out their socials and the amazing assets that they are creating. Our third artist for the mention of the week goes to Metaguma, also with an amazing asset created for the Autumn Vibes Vox Edit contest. Their little witch, absolutely adorable, fantastic. Make sure to go check out all of their socials and see what amazing assets they are creating. And our final artist for the mention of the week goes to Farai sorry if I have also messed up your name, with this amazing entry for the Steampunk Vox Edit contest that we did last year. Make sure to go check out their socials and follow them so you can see what amazing assets they are also creating. For our experience mention of the week goes to Shadows of the High Seas. This was an experience that was within, I believe, Alpha Season 3 and was most definitely a fun experience to play. So do go check that experience out by Havoc Studios, and make sure to go and follow Havoc Studios over on Twitter, as well as all of our artists for the mention of the week. Thank you for tuning in to our news of the week. We will see you next week with some more news. Yay!
All right, thanks, Panda, for that.
Thank you, Panda.
I don't know if this is gonna be like an every time thing or if it's just we just have it this time. I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. So that was the news. We're all done with the news. There's nothing else happening. There's nothing. I don't know. There's something about Bitcoin. I don't know. We don't do Bitcoin here.
You talking about that little ETF thing that got approved?
Yeah, a little ETF thing. That's like a ETF, Ethereum, the finest.
Ooh.
I know it has to do with like spot trading and investments, and this will mean I guess that investment companies will be able to basically do people's like payroll investments, where like instead of getting all the money in your paycheck, you can get some of it like non-taxed into like 401k kind of stuff. So I guess this connects to that somehow. These investment companies will be able to invest your funds into crypto, Bitcoin specifically.
It stands for exchange traded funds.
Yeah.
ETF, exchange traded funds.
Talk to Joe about it because I don't know.
Joe's so smart.
Joe knows about these things. That's why I keep him around.
That he's just stunningly handsome. I mean, have you looked at the man?
Yeah, he's got a beard and glasses. I should have put on glasses before I said that, but I don't wear my glasses because my eyes are perfect just the way they are. All right, so let's jump into the Game Maker.
Okay.
Which is really what I want to be doing because I'm so excited about the rules system and all the cool stuff that we've been doing. So last week I made a correction to the week before, and now I need to correct my correction this week. So we had set up this lives heart. We'd set up a lives system where we have a variable for lives, and if we lose all of our lives, we get a game over. So you can see our lives on the left side. We run into lava. We die. We lose a life. And
I got a question when you got a sec.
Yeah. I pick up this golden heart. I gain a life. I lose a life. I lose all my lives. And now we have been defeated. What's the question?
Defeat! So last week when we were talking about this, you said something about an issue that old games used to run into where you would get infinite lives. Can you explain that again just really quickly?
Yeah, so it's something that we could technically do here. I mean, we would have to try to make the mistake here. But a lot of older programming languages and old systems like consoles and stuff, the way that they were written was not necessarily as easy to read as what we have with something like the rules system here. And I mean, you can still make these mistakes here because there's all sorts of goofy bugs that can happen. But basically, if a game was coded in a way where it would only check if you had 0 lives, and there's probably other ways that this bug could happen too, but specifically, if it was only checking for 0 lives, if you did something weird in the game that got you to negative lives, then you could not get a game over because you had passed by where it would sense that you had 0 lives.
Gotcha.
And like I said, there's a bunch of different ways that you can do this in different games, and it would happen to some games and some not to other games. And this can still happen in games that you make in the game maker here. So if we were to say have a situation where we could die too fast, like say like the lava was underneath our spawn point or something, and it killed us really super fast before the defeat rule could apply, which it's not, there's not really a point to me setting this up for an experiment. It's more just a thought experiment. But if I could somehow make myself die twice, lose 2 lives really, really quickly, and my rule, if I go to gameplay, game rules, and my check lives, if my condition was set to equals and was looking for 0, but I somehow got to -1 lives, then I would just be invincible. I could just die as many times as I wanted, and I'd go -1 life, -2 life, -3 life, and just keep on going until I don't know what the actual limit on these variables are. Let's see. I think we figured that out last time. Yeah, I could get to negative. Well, I could probably, let's see if I can do it. Negative. Yeah, I could get to -2 million. Actually, it's more than a million. It's -2,147,483,647 lives. That's a lot of lives. So it's not technically infinite. If you hit this number and you got -1 life from that, I don't know what would happen. I guess we could try. Probably some sort of error would throw, or I might crash it. I don't feel like doing that right now.
I feel like that would take a while.
It would mean I'd have to, if it crashed, I'd have to restart the game maker, and yeah, it could be kind of funny to figure out. Maybe at the end of the stream, if I remember, we'll try it out. We'll just see what happens. What happens if we set that variable as low as it can go, and then we lose the life. But we're doing lower equals, which means it checks if it is equal to this number or if it's lower than that number. So if something happens where we get less than 0 lives, we still get the game over. That's what that does. So,
are you excited?
Am I excited?
Yeah,
I'm always excited.
Oh, like, that must be exhausting.
It is. So that's why I just seem normal right now, because I'm always excited, but I'm also always tired. So
wow, you're a very complex human being.
That's my trick, Captain. I'm always tired and caffeinated. So what we had done on 2 weeks ago was we set up our live system with our variable, and we set up a life heart that if we pick it up, it adds a life. And somebody from our team in Germany who helped develop the rules system was like, oh, you can send this, you can make it more efficient by making this an argument to a message instead of having 2 rules, one for plus lives and one for subtracting lives.
Okay.
So we originally had 2 rules. One would add a life and one would subtract a life, depending on if we picked up a heart or if we died. But he's like, guess what? You can have this thing send a argument. So we have the collect message, which is yellow, which means that it's a message that has an argument attached to it. And with that argument, we can say how much it changes the life by, and we want to change it by +1. So when we collect this, it goes into our rule and says, hey, this is the message, change the number of lives by whatever the argument for the message that triggered this rule is. In this case, it's +1. And we wanted to do the same thing with deaths and have it change by -1. So when it sends the dying message, it actually sends a message of life change by -1. And when he was suggesting that I do that, I tried it and it didn't work. And we thought that maybe the lives system or the health component, maybe the health component or something to do with the player's health component is not feeding this argument through. And so we made up, on last stream, we made up this relay here. Nope, not that one. This one, life loss event, that when we die, it relays the message back into the rule system. Well, it turns out that it was some weird fluke that it didn't work for me the first time. We don't even need this relay. It should actually work. So we're going to delete our relay. And we're going to go into our player controller component health component system. And our message sent on death of life, we are going to say change by -1, which is what we had originally planned when I was talking to my coworker. And then broadcast type on death, we originally had it on selected actors going to that logic donut. We're going to change it to the rules system. So it's going to broadcast the life message with an argument of -1 to rules. And that should be the only thing that we need. So let's see if it works. When I had tried this before, it didn't work. And then when I was talking to him after last week's stream, he's like, maybe we're both blind. Maybe we missed something. Because I sent him screenshots of my logic, and I'm like, it's definitely not working. So we pick up a heart. We now have 4 lives. We stand in the lava. Now we got -3. Or -3. It went -1 down to 3. So yeah, we don't even need that logic donut. This is an extremely efficient system.
I like it.
Before the rule system, we used to need to have like objects that would like die if you died. And then when all of those objects had died, you could get a game over. And if you wanted to add lives, it became a whole thing. So this is extremely simple. All we have is a message, one message, one argument, one variable, and 2 rules. And that's our entire live system. So we've got game rules. This is our whole live system here. When the message of life occurs, when it gets sent into the rules system, the variable of lives gets changed by whatever the life argument is, whether it's positive or negative. And it sends a message, life change. Okay, yeah, we got 2 messages actually. It sends a message, life change, and then it goes into check lives, which checks if we have 0 or fewer lives. And if we have 0 or fewer lives, the defeat message gets sent out, and that goes to our defeat donut here, defeat event, which gives us our defeat. And when we pick up the heart, the pickup message, the collect message changes by +1, goes into the rule system, and if we die, the life message gets sent with an argument of -1 into the rule system. They work. It's so symmetrical and beautiful. 5% Art says it actually removes 1 donut. Yeah, so we don't need a donut at all for the live system. We only have the donut for that defeat message because we can set that up correctly. If you use after its death message and other things, we will add the numpad or donut. I'm not entirely sure what you mean there, Biverson. But anyway, I'm really happy with the way this live system works. It's so efficient and simple. I learned things along the way. Like I didn't know that we could create a message with arguments. Like I knew that there were messages that had arguments preset, like the weather change preset, or not, weather change message had an argument, but I didn't realize that we could make our own arguments for messages, which I think is a new thing in 0.9. So super cool. So what we want to do today is we want to have health hearts drop, but randomly, because right now, if I run up to any blade of grass, give it a whack, these hearts just appear, which, you know, is helpful, but it's a little too helpful.
A little too helpful.
Yeah, it just means that we can get hearts from anything, and and they kind of become meaningless. It's like, what's the point of having a health system if there's just so much bonus HP that you can just... Somebody's like honking their horn outside, but it sounds like a mosquito.
I hear neither mosquito nor honking.
It's a really weird noise. I'm hearing like but like really faint. It's like down the street or something. I have no idea what this noise is. It almost sounds like somebody's phone buzzing, but like my phone is right here and it's not buzzing. So I don't know what it is. It just was very confusing.
If you start to feel faint at all or smell almonds, let me know.
Oh, but I like almonds.
I do too. They're wonderful.
You know what?
Yes.
There's I decided that I don't want to tell this story because it's kind of gross.
Okay. Okay.
Has to do
Moving
with, like,
on.
almond scented soap and stuff, but I'm not gonna. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, we can grab health from every blade of grass, which is just too much health. It's just too much health. We don't need that much health. So what if we made the hearts drop randomly? So we're going to need to create a rule that rolls a random number, and another rule that senses if the random number is the right number for spawning a heart. And then we're also going to have the hearts drop a logic, or have the grass drop a logic donut, which then should, I feel like it would be best if the logic donut kind of self-destructs after it decides if it's going to drop a heart or not, because it's I don't want all these logic donuts just kind of hanging out. Yeah, they're invisible, but we don't want, if we're going to be killing all this grass, we don't want to be adding just as many items to the map that we can't even see. I don't know, it just feels unnecessary. So we're gonna make a little system for that. A dog ate my voxels. What? Could be a communique coming from the aliens in Miami. Oh yeah, that was like the 10-foot alien or something like that.
He's 10 foot, not 8 foot. He's grown since the last time we talked about him. It's my cousin Earl. He plays basketball.
We're gonna go into gameplay and game rules, and we're going to add a new section. So we've got our live section. We're gonna tuck it over here. So I did have a conversation with the same person I was talking to about the live system, about what exactly this grid board space thing means. And this smiley to frowny bar is not necessarily how much CPU and RAM your game is going to use based on this rule system. It's more, how much does this rules system impact your performance while you're editing it? So if we fill up this grid with a ton of stuff, it'll start to have a performance impact for you as a creator. But once your game's actually running, it will probably actually run better than you might expect based on this grid board space thing. So don't stress out about it too much. Try to be efficient. And if it starts getting frowny and things start running slowly, you'll know that's why. But you may actually be surprised that the game from like the gallery or the client may run better than you were expecting based on how well this grid ran at the moment. Another thing to address, I just forgot as I started that sentence. So we're gonna I'll come back to that
all the time.
All right. we're going to create our random roll here. So we're gonna open up our comparisons and change variable values, and we're gonna roll a random number, and this is gonna be our dice roll. And I feel like um maybe like a 1 in 15 chance is maybe enough blades of grass for it to feel like even 1 in 20, I'd say,
I
because
was gonna say
sometimes,
1 in 20.
well, I like the round numbers. I do like them. But there's some sections where there's like 6 or 7 blades of grass like all clustered together, so it's and you'll go through 20 chances pretty quickly. And it's a random roll, so it's not exactly 1 in 20, but it's you know, over the course of hundreds of rolls, it'll average to 1 in 20. Um, so our new rule set is going to be called Health Drop. And we're going to roll a random number. So chance of dropping health. Oh, I remembered what the thing is.
Please do tell.
So we had been talking about local and global variables before. And I had talked about how global variable is one that synchronizes with the server, and a local variable is one that's just affecting you on your client. And that's not entirely true.
How so?
It is more nuanced than that, because local variables can't do impact multiplayer. And that is how we would do something like defining teams. So in my head, when we were talking about doing like Bomberman or parkour races or all these things where you might have team A and team B, you don't actually have to have the player pick something up. You could have an asker ask them, hey, what team do you want to be on? And that could define a local variable. So the player would be put on team A or team B based on what they selected. Or you could have a system in there that says, okay, this person's on team A, this person's on team B, based on where they're standing, or maybe it's doing some sort of like alternating system based on when people connect. They connect to the server and it goes, okay, first person's on A, second person's on B, something like that. The game can't. There's no rule to sense when a player connects, but we do have proximity-based sensors. So on the server, that instance is running. The first player to connect activates the sensor that goes, "You are on team A," and then the next person who triggers the sensor when they connect, it goes, "You are on team B," and then it would divide people up that way. So yeah, there's different ways that you could assign the team, but you would want to assign that in a local variable, so that variable is defined for the player. And then you can do things like scoreboards and effects that only affect one team based on that local variable. So that's really the point of local variables. So local and global variables both communicate with the server. And you do want to be careful about how many variables you're introducing, because that will have an impact on the server, how much is being communicated and synchronized between everything. So your single player behaviors and messages are happening locally on your computer and are not getting sent to the server. But when you start sending a lot of messages that are multiplayer, that are getting synchronized with the server, that does make a performance impact. So that is another thing to be aware of as you're making your game. If it can be single player, then make it single player, because it'll run a bit more lean, and you're not relying on your internet communication speed, and not just your communication speed, but the server's communication speed with other players in your instance, because your information is getting sent to this server, and then that information is getting propagated out to all the other players. So the more times all the players are bouncing back on the server and synchronizing to each other, that all brings the performance down across the board. So just things to think about when making complex rules and behaviors and message systems and trying to optimize your game. All right, that was that tangent.
It was a good one. It was a good one.
Yeah, so it wasn't like, it's not a retraction of what I said about local and global before, but it's like making it better.
That's fair.
Wave controls. Oh, I got confused that I had lined up the bottom part. I had lined up the top of this rule set with the bottom of my screen so perfectly that I thought that this was
one was the other.
Well, I thought this was the edge of the window, and that wave controls was like some menu that I hadn't seen before. But it's really just that.
Ooh, new features.
Yeah, I was like, what? That button wasn't there before. And it's, yeah, because I can move it around wherever. All right, so chance of drop in health. So we need a message for when the grass is killed. Actually, I think we need one for when the logic donut spawns. So the what would be nice with this system is if we could roll this random thing happening and spawn it to one of the grass that we had just killed without having to spawn other things. But we do need to spawn other things, so this is going to be a little more complicated than if we were able to say the XYZ position of a blade of grass, spawn a heart there, maybe. We don't have that ability. So basically, we're going to spawn this logic donut. It will spawn anytime a blade of grass dies, and then that logic donut's going to kind of jump through some logic loops to see whether or not it spawns a heart. So let's take care of the logic donut spawning first. So we're going to go to our blade of grass here. We're going to use this one as our guinea pig. And right now it's currently dropping the healing heart preset, but we're going to make a new preset. And we'll probably have to update it a few times as we go through. So we've got our logic asset. And this is going to be called our healing heart chance. All right, no collisions on it. Behavior, I think we're going to make it a plant. And I'm making this up as I go along. This is, I was busy with other things. I wanted to try to set this up before I know that it would work, but there's a chance that none of this will work. But you're in for the ride with me, so we're going to figure it out. So we've got our plant, and we need a kill message specific for this. So message to destroy, we're going to say...
pew, pew, pew.
So we've got the healing heart chance. So this is the HHC dot kill.
I guess you want to be a little organized about how you set these things up. That makes sense.
A little bit. I mean, I could do a what was it, Fwonk, but we're I think we used that up a little bit.
Yeah, we did.
Now I'm trying to think if we need HHC kill to hold an argument. And I don't think so. We could... Yeah, no, we don't need the kill message to have an argument. So we are going to just add HHC kill. And that will remove our spawner after it has decided if it's going to spawn something or not. Let's see. We are going to add a tag of heal point. And we're going to try to see if we can get this to spawn also. Actually, yeah, we can't use it as a plant because if we kill a logic donut, does it make an explosion? I actually don't know. The problem with it being a plant is that it's not going to drop anything because the spawning is a behavior. Like we could have this have a drop, but we want this to be random, and a drop can't be random. Like it can have a random offset, but there's no way to have it have a chance of not spawning a thing. So the grass drops, but this does need to be a spawner. So we're gonna change it to spawner. Do we need it as multiplayer? I don't think so. So single player asset spawner, spawn offset, we want it to be 0. Asset to spawn is going to be the healing heart. Oh, wait, we can use preset. There we go. Preset is healing heart. There it is. We can even preview it. There it is. All right. It's only gonna spawn it once. Sure. I don't think that really matters in this case because we're going to be removing this thing anyway. And message required is going to be hc dot spawn. And that should take care of that. And now we need a kill. So we need to add a health component. And this is where we're going to have our HHC kill. All right, that's the instant death message for this. We don't need any death delay on there. Hide the life bar. We never need to see it. Invincible false. Message sent on death. Broadcast type. We'll see if we need those messages or not. We don't need any damaging blocks or healing blocks. And it's not stunnable. Death event is just going to destroy it. All right. So I want to see what this thing looks like if we trigger the events manually. So we're going to add a couple deer here. These are just our message broadcasters. And message to send is going to be the HHC spawn. And it's going to broadcast that everyone in range. Yeah, that's a big enough range. And it's going to wait before broadcast, and it's going to wait for us to interact. Okay, and I'm actually just going to duplicate the deer and change that message to HHC kill. Because I want to see if it gives a little explosion when it does that. All right, so that donut is right here, but we can't currently see it. So if we interact with the deer, it did indeed spawn the heart. And
I think the heart was there when you started. Can you just restart real quick and go back? I thought I saw it there for a second. Yeah, it's sitting there. You can see it. Oh, never mind. You're in the programming side.
We'll try that again. Okay. There is not currently a heart here. There is.
Wait, go back. Oh, there's a delay. I thought I saw it. There it is.
I think you've got a lot of delay.
Oh, my bad.
I'm waving my hands right now, and this will let you know how much delay there is. Oh, you're looking at the golden heart.
Yes.
No, we're looking for a pink heart.
Oh,
The golden
I
heart
was
is
confused.
lives. The golden heart is lives. We're making a pink heart, which is our health heart. And
Bobby.
now it's there. And it froze again. Why is it? It does this to me every once in a while. Usually only when I'm streaming. I'm like in
But
the
it's
middle of
only
doing something.
That's interesting because like you can obviously the game itself is still moving. Everything's still going on. You can see the lava moving, the water
Yeah.
moving, the deers are moving.
Yeah, I lose control for some reason.
Just really like that deer. You're just enjoying your,
Just hanging out,
your
give me a
deer
nice
time.
little
Little pet.
massage.
Little pet.
Can we? I don't want to redo all this. Loses input focus. Asker bug. There's no asker. I'm just interacting with the deer to make that spawn. I did tell it to spawn only once, but I don't think that would cause this. All right. Well, we're doing it again.
It's gonna be fast. We're gonna be able to burn our way through it a little quicker. That's the cool thing about this is even when you mess up, you've learned it before and it's easier to do it again, but also remember to save regularly.
All right. How about a giveaway?
Ooh, you have to give me a second on that one. As soon as I get that ready, I'm into it.
Yeah, Mr. Furious X, that's exactly what's happening to me. It's just kind of like it goes, you know what? You were having too much fun. So what all did we change? We fixed that life system, so we got rid of the life loss event. We updated the player controller component to have a -1 and send to the rules system. That should be are you using OBS? Sometimes OBS doesn't like it when you run the program executable, so it's better to share the desktop instead. I am sharing the desktop. That's why you can see stuff like this.
Mm.
Right. Picked up a life. Lost a life. That is working. So we're going to hit file save. We're just going to save incrementally as we go through them. All right. Now we are going to add a logic donut. And this is going to be a single player spawner. Use preset of the heart, healing heart. We'll leave the only ones off, I guess. We're gonna have that HHC dot spawn as the message, and we're gonna add a component of health. Yeah, I haven't set up any askers, so I'm not sure. Not sure why. There is an asker at the start of the game, which I guess we could get rid of. But we had already interacted with that and had like moved on to other things, so I don't think that would have been related. Death event is going to be destroyed. Death delay is 0. Instant death message is HHC dot kill. Life bar hidden message broadcast type range broadcast range. Damaging blocks. Stunnable. False. Alright, so that should be that. We're gonna make our friendly deer messenger message broadcast HHC spawn, and we're gonna interact with it. And we're going to duplicate the deer, and we're going to change that to HHC kill. Okay, I think we're basically caught up to where we were. Right, hit save.
There we go. I was about to say not until you hit save.
Logic donuts now have more filling in the middle. That is true, they do. Funny enough, the filling. Well, what? Can we change it? I haven't tried. Yeah, so you can change it. You can be like, I want this to be a plant, but it's a star. Or I want this to be a citizen, but it's still a star. So, like, they have these shapes in the middle now. You can still change what they are. So you could just use these because you like the icon. You don't necessarily have to use it for the purpose that they are imbued with, which is kind of funny. Does this start dialogue? Okay, yeah, no, we do need this asker at the start because that's what triggers like the quests starting and stuff. All right, let's see. We've got a thing. Did I kill the logic donut? Well, let's see if it still spawns. I did. I killed the logic donut. Will this broadcast be uploaded to YouTube? We try to upload all the broadcasts to YouTube. It sometimes takes a few days. Panda is very busy, but she's the one who takes care of downloading the Twitch VOD. Oh, I fell. Downloading the Twitch VOD and then uploading it to YouTube. Making sure
All the most recent ones have, yeah, all the most recent ones have gone on YouTube. There was a few over the winter break that I think that kind of got lost in the shuffle, but there was also a lot of streams that were done back to back to back, and there was some really long streams that were done as well. And yeah,
that was
she's also really good about it.
That was technically during winter break.
Her vacation.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Twitch VODs, depending on how the system is set up, only stay up for so long. So it's possible that if Panda didn't download them soon enough, they may be gone forever. But for the most part, just wait a day or two, and
yeah, she's really good about it.
Yeah. All right, so we interact with this deer, and it drops a heart. We could probably even do this more than once. Hey, we got more hearts.
Okay. Giveaway form in the chat.
Hey, giveaway form in the chat. Oh, that reminds me of something else. I'll get to that in a second. And now let's see what happens if we interact with the deer. It does give an explosion. I don't want the explosion. So what we could do is we could have a plant behavior. Basically, we're going to bundle behaviors on behaviors. So this logic is going to get apparent.
So why don't you want there to be an explosion there?
There's just too much stuff going on. I'm already killing the grass. When I kill the grass, it gives a little explosion. And there would be a secondary explosion when the logic donut disappears. It just ends up becoming like too many explosions. That's actually like on my wish list of things is that
a podcast called Too Many Explosions.
I mean, I don't need a wish list for that. We could just do it.
Man,
no, the explosion on death. I wish we could set that in the health to like not happen. You know, have the option
just an on or off switch.
Yeah, like we've got on and off switch for so many other things. Like death explosion should just be an option to like not have it. It makes sense when you hit the grass because it, you know, you're actually hitting something. But if it's gonna have a second one every single time, I feel like it's just gonna double up and be too much.
I mean, you're hitting it so hard and so, with such force that it's just turning it into this powder, and that's what the explosion is. And that's science. So,
let's see. There was something that I wanted to bring up.
When you brought it up after I said I just dropped a giveaway form in the
Yep.
chat.
No, I know what it is. So we had run a giveaway on the Wizzyverse Discord for Wizzy the Blue NPC the 1st week of the year. But unfortunately, I guess somebody, I don't know who, was sharing the giveaway URL to people who had not been in the community for long enough to earn the role where they can enter giveaways.
Okay.
And so, just a quirk of the giveaway system. Basically, we had people joining just for that instead of participating in the community. So that was basically against the rules of the giveaway. So we haven't given away a Wizzy the Blue NPC, but we decided to kind of pause the free giveaways for now for a little bit.
Okay.
We may continue with giveaways for people who hold Wizzyverse assets in the special Discord role servers that you can get from connecting with Collabland. Just a little utility on your NFTs there. I think everybody appreciates that. But we've got our first community contest. Thanks to Dr. Metaverso for coming up with this idea. We kind of both came up with the idea. He came up with the idea of doing a contest, and then I changed what the contest was. And then he set up all these graphics and stuff. So, if you join discord.gg/Wizzyverse, WIZZYVERSE, we're doing a GIF remix contest where you take an existing animated GIF meme. It could be something from Wolf on Wall Street, your favorite anime, just a funny reaction GIF that you like using or that you see other people using, and mix it up by inserting some Wizzy magic into it, whether that be a full Wizzy body, just the head, putting a hat on the characters, whatever makes sense. And if you hold Wizzyverse NPCs, you actually get the 3D models on the Discord server, so that can help improve the quality of your submission. All the rules are in there. It's on the announcements channel, discord.gg/Wizzyverse, if you want to participate in that. Have fun. I'm excited to see what you make. We've had
Thanks in the chat.
Cool. Thank you. I don't know if I can easily open up some examples, but if you check out the fan art showcase channel that's mentioned on the announcement, there's a few examples there already posted, and submissions. People have already been making things real fast. We just announced it this morning, so yeah, have fun with it. All right, so we immediately need to make this more complicated, just because I have standards. Usually that's what like adds.
Bless your heart.
Like I love having. I like having really like efficient systems, like the life system here. But then I also am like, okay, let's add like 5 steps of logic, because I don't like that this specific little effect happens. So we're going to have the. Oh, we never named this thing. So this is the. Well, I don't even remember what HHC stands for. Healing Heart.
HHC.
Chance is what it stood for. So that's the spawner.
Should I start taking notes? Should I get like a notepad? Start writing these acronyms
you just watch
down.
The VOD on YouTube.com. Now why can't I see? There's this logic asset. Where's this one? I would think it would be at the bottom, but it's not. It's apparently way up here. Well, we can search. So if we make the names similar, we can put them both in the hierarchy search. So we've got Healing Heart. We're just going to say Healing Heart chance and Healing Heart despawn. And then we type in Healing Heart, and now they both show up in the hierarchy, and we can make the chance a child of despawn, and now they're both here behind my head. What's up? What am I gonna? Oh,
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
I'm not gonna go through all the arguments. But
because we've already had them a million times.
I've heard every single argument, and every single argument has an exact counter argument.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no point where like one scores higher than the other. The biggest detractors are that most of the people who argue for GIF don't understand how certain linguistics and grammar things actually work. They like make some assumptions about the way we say things that are just fundamentally untrue. And I prefer the way GIF sounds, because GIF doesn't sound, it like feels ugly coming out of my mouth. So get wrecked.
I recently, about like 6 months ago, I stopped eating sugar, and I've tried to cut it out of my diet as much as I possibly can. There's a lot of places where it like sneaks on in, but because of that, there's certain things that I still allow myself to have that aren't the healthiest, but they still don't have a whole lot in it. But one of them is Jif peanut butter. And the longer I stay away from sugar, the sweeter it gets. And
Yeah.
I'm at this point now where it tastes like I'm eating like a Reese's.
There's
And I
reduced sugar
adore it.
GIF.
Yeah, you take that and you can just run away with it. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. I mean,
but yeah, I know there's reduced sugar. I tried that one. It's just I kind of use this as a treat. It's
that's
so
totally
good.
fine. That's legitimate.
Oh, I love it so much.
Yeah. Maxi. Yeah, wasn't that yeah, are you gonna start pronouncing giraffe as giraffe? That's how you say giraffe.
I know. I was just like looking at that one. I'm like,
that before.
I was like saying it in my head, like I was reading it as they're typing it. I'm like, giraffe, giraffe. I wonder if they said it the same way both times when they typed it too. Is that the joke? Because that's exactly how I read through that in my head.
I saw the lower comments first, so my brain already started going on that track, and then I went further up in the chat, and yeah. It's pronounced pho, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pronounced pho. That's how
pho.
My wife is Asian. She pronounces it pho. I'm gonna believe that she's the expert on this one.
I think I've only ever heard people say it as pho, unless, yeah, I mean, I guess somebody probably says pho, but I don't.
I have one friend from Tennessee, and he says pho, and he does it, but he also says Home Depot, and he says Home Depot, and it drives me up a wall, and he knows it, and that's why he does it.
Jira F. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Jira. I don't know anybody who is a fan of Jira. It's just all the other options are just as bad.
The evil you know?
Yeah, pretty much. Foo? Ooh, no. That's
and now we have descended into madness.
Oh man. So we've got our. Oh no, this isn't capitalized. Oh no. And you know when it comes down to it, there may be exceptions to this in the past, but I like to give myself the benefit of the doubt. When people say GIF, I don't typically make fun of them, because I'm a better person than that.
I thought you were going to say, because I'm a better person than them. And I was like, wow.
Well, that too.
We have fun.
All right. So we've got Healing Heart despawn. This is going to have the plant behavior. Now, can this send a message after it spawns? I don't think so. So we could have our rule system despawn these things, or we can actually have the healing heart send that message itself to destroy these things. So now the one thing that I'm possibly concerned about, if we roll a successful spawn, it may be that every single blade of grass,
Spontaneously combusts.
well, or every blade of grass that we just cut, they all spawn hard at the same time. But we're gonna see how it works, and we're gonna see if we can refine it. And I'm sure, like, depending on how I set this up, I'll probably have a DM later from my coworker going, you can do it this way.
So does that mean they watch the show regularly?
I think they've been watching the replays. They're in Germany, so this is kind of late for them.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a couple people who watch, but I think this one specifically has been like, ooh, they're talking about the rule system. Let's see how he messes it up today. And
they ever have any like tips or like things they want us to go over, they should definitely send it our way. I'd love some developer feedback on what they want to see us like, bungle through.
what we're learning on the spot here.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna have the healing heart. Can we have it send a message? Edit logic. All right, so it's got the animated decoration behavior. It's actually doing this spin bob animation pretty quickly. We could just have it send a message at the end of that. Although, if it's sending a message after every single time it completes that animation, that might become a bit much. I think I want the rule system to despawn the thing, because I think that will be more efficient. Actually, in general, the rule system is probably going to be more efficient at doing things than logic donuts or tiles or any like asset. Basically, when you do stuff in the game space, everything's happening in this 3D space, and there's extra calculations going on based on where these objects are, what they are, integrating with the way all the behaviors work. The rule system is very abstract and like clean cut. It's disconnected from everything. So if you can have logic happening in the rule system, do it there because it's going to be a lot more efficient. All right, so we've got our healing chance. Let's see. That's the asset spawner. Edit logic. Okay, it's going to send the spawn, and this is going to be the plant. That's going to be our HHC kill. And the only reason for doing this is just so we don't get that little explosion at the end. So if we hit play, unless you run out of game rules room space. Yeah, of course. All right, we're going to see if it spawns the heart. Okay, spawns the heart just fine. And then we're going to interact here, and that should have removed the thing. Let's see. Oh, it didn't. Interesting. Why didn't it get rid of the plant? HHC kill. Did I attach this correctly? Hierarchy. Why is the other one not showing up in here? What's going on? It's attached. Okay, now I can see it. Healing Heart despawn, Healing Heart chance. They are attached. Plant is HHC kill. Why is it not pulling this along for the ride? Interact. Everyone in range. Oh, it might actually be out of range. It's just barely out of range. We're going to switch that to all just to make sure that it works. Silly
What
little
even
things.
is the range?
I think it defaults to 10 meters.
Oh.
Okay.
I was not expecting you to have that information available right off the top of your head that quickly. Well done.
Hey, that fixed it. Okay. So
Okay.
now we despawn the thing. There was no little explosion. It worked the way I anticipated it. Yeah, I think it defaults to 10 meters, right? Edit logic. Everyone in range. 10 meters. Yep. But now we're going to get rid of the deer. We don't need him anymore. Bye, deer. And we're
Deer
actually
is now venison.
can I replace this with a different? You can't. I want to see if I could replace it with a different logic preset icon, but it's fine. We're gonna make them overlap. So we're gonna line this up on the grid, or we're gonna try to.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
50, 32.
While you're doing that, I just want to say how much I love the fact that they threw a Rubik's Cube into the center of the logic donuts like that. There are Rubik's Cubes all over my house. I mean, I have at least like 3 within arm's reach. Ooh, that's fun. Bet. Can't see some of the squares. Wait, is yours just all black?
It's heat sensitive.
Oh, it's color change. How cool.
Yeah.
That's super nifty. I've never seen that before. Mine lights up. It actually has a charger port on it right here. It is so much fun.
This is one of my Christmas presents from my wife.
That was very thoughtful. I like that a lot. Anything that changes color or glows in the dark is, I'm instantly like, tell me more about whatever this is.
All right. I am very much out of practice, but I was never good at the like look at it and just know how to solve it. But I did at one point memorize the pattern where you can do the preset moves, and it'll get you a solution eventually.
The gentleman who does my tattoos, he'd take it and look at it for a second, and then he can put it behind his back, and it's like 30 seconds later, it's done. And I'm just like, what is wrong with your brain? How smart are you? Like, it's really impressive.
One of the kids, well, he's more closer to my brother's age. My brother's 7 years younger than me. But it was like a childhood friend of ours. He was a competitive cube solver.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got our little system that's going to spawn and spawn the heart. And we're going to save this preset. This is going to be our, or what did I call it? Healing Heart despawn. So whatever you make the preset name, oops, I clicked the wrong thing. Healing Heart despawn. Whatever you make the the preset name is what the asset actually gets called when you put it down. So if I called this something different, if I called this heart, this logic donut would actually be called a heart when it spawns.
Gotcha.
And so now it's in here. And so I can click over here, and we should have two assets. Yep. Our spawner and our despawner. Okay, I'm going to remove those. And we're going to make the grass drop a healing heart despawner. Okay. All right. So I just thought of a problem. Because these are logic donuts, I'm not going to be able to see when they spawn or despawn. I'm just going to have to trust that it's happening until we see heart spawning. So we're going to see what happens. All right. And when this thing dies, it's going to send a message. We're going to say message sent on death. HHC start. And that's going to start our rule system to like roll the dice and stuff. Broadcast type, it's going to go to rules because we don't need to send it to anything in here. We're going to hit save. How much more time we got on that giveaway form?
I can close it out right now if you'd like me to.
Sure, it's been almost 30 minutes.
And this is for an orange chat, correct?
It is indeed.
Okay.
All right. So our graphs is sending to the rules system, and we're gonna open up game rules, full screen, zoom out a bit. I'm gonna tuck this in here, and we're gonna make a new change variable. Roll a random number. Rule set is going to be health drop. And one in 20 chance of health. Required message is going to be HHC start. That's going to start our roll. Minimum value is going to be a 1. Maximum value is going to be a 20. So it's going to roll a number between 1 and 20. And it's going to put that in a variable. Actually, no, we can make this variable visible just for now, so we can see that it's doing the random roll. Oh yeah, if we hover here, it talks about local variables are specific to each player and can only be used when a player directly interacts with the game world, i.e. by interacting with a game object that contains a volume, trigger, speaker, asker. Global variables are player independent, meaning the value of the global variable is the same for all players. Global variables can be affected without the need of a player input. Yeah, and when it says a player input, it does note that that includes like a volume trigger or a speaker. So it's player input in that the player moves into the space that triggers it, even if it's like a moving platform or an NPC pushing them. It's not actually player input in that case. It's just something going on with the player triggers it. Just good to note. It could be a global variable in this case. It doesn't matter because we're making a single player game. All right, so the name for this is going to just be HHC we're just going to call this D20 actually, because it's a 20-sided die that we're rolling here. It's going to start at 0 because we don't need it as anything else. Show at the start of the game, sure. And name on HUD. Roll. All right. So our D20 is going to roll, and it's going to set the value from 0 to being between 1 and 20. And HHC dot rolled is going to be our message going out. Okay. Now we want so we've spawned the we spawned with the drop, the healing heart despawn. And we've started the roll process. So the next step is going to be seeing if that roll was successful or not. So we need to compare. We're going to check if the number is in a range. I don't know why I put it in there instead of here. There we go. So we're going to get the message HHC rolled. Which apparently it didn't remember that we did that message. Oh, there it is. Minimum value is, oh, actually, no, this is, we don't need to do it in a range because we're just checking if it's a 20. So we're actually going to use the, is it compare numbers? I think it's this one. We're just seeing, yeah, condition greater or equals. So we're doing HEC rolled, select the variable D20, and we're seeing if it's greater than or equal to 20. So if you roll a nat 20, you get a health heart. Comparison is going to be made once. Yep. And message if it's successful is going to be that HEC spawned or spawn. There we go. And we want to get rid of that logic donut if it's not in that D20. So, or if it's not that natural 20. So we're going to duplicate our comparison here. Nat 20 and failed roll. That's what we're going to call this. If it is lower than 20, HEC dot kill. There we go. All right, so that despawner is going to spawn. It's going to trigger our start here. It's going to roll our D20. After it's rolled, it's going to give us either the message to spawn the heart or kill the spawner. Could it be that simple? I have a feeling that this isn't going to work successfully, but we're going to give it a try. And we're going to save. And we're actually going to duplicate this grass a bunch of times so we have options. So, because we'll want to trigger the system multiple times. So we're going to duplicate this grass and we're going to put it over here. And duplicate. Duplicate. And we're giving a little bit of space so we can see each attempt. And duplicate again.
So it's just whenever you destroy grass, it doesn't have to be predetermined grass. Any asset that's labeled as this is going to have a chance of dropping a heart when it gets obliterated.
Well, we do have to. So it's not just any grass; it's grass that we've given this this healing heart despawn preset as the drop when it dies.
Gotcha. So you can't do apply all, or can you?
I can select all the grass and add this drop.
Then add it. Gotcha. Okay, cool.
It will be slow though. It'll take it like a minute or two to run through every single one and add it. And I would actually recommend saving, exiting the game maker, and then reloading, because there's I think there's over 200 pieces of grass in this map, and when it goes through and applies it to all of those, the game maker's not very happy afterwards. It's just because it's crunching through so many of them so quickly. All right, so let's see what happens. We've got a roll 0 on our thing here. So we're gonna hit this grass. It rolled an 18. That's pretty good. It's not good enough. I rolled a 2. Rolled a 10. Rolled a 4. I just like seeing that it rolled. That's
I know.
That's fun. 8, 2, 9, 5, 10, 9, 14, 2, 9. No successful rolls. Oh, wait, we got one more over here. Is this going to be the 20? So it says 15. Wait. Oh, no, this was the other grass. I got too excited. Okay. Let's try again. I may just lower the scoring criteria, so we don't have to wait for it to actually roll a 20.
Hey, Alex.
What's up?
Got that winner.
It worked. I rolled a 20 and it dropped a heart.
There you go.
Who's our winner? Me, because I got that to work.
I was just about to say, Alex, clearly. Congrats goes out to Polyante. You have won Wizzy's orange singed hat. Enjoy it, my friend, and wear it with pride. But also, Alex, you know. But as for actually getting an NFT, Polyante.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a very good question, and it was very well timed, so I appreciate it completely.
So I'm going to cluster all these grasses together to see what happens if multiple are hit and I roll a 20 all at the same time. See, I have a feeling, because each of these should be sending through the rule system one at a time, and technically my swing is happening in 3D space. It should be connecting with each of these blades of grass at a different frame. So it should be doing that roll each time. So you can see that my roll actually it stutters a little bit because it's doing a whole bunch of them at the same time.
Oh, it's doing you're like 3 of them, are however many you're destroying, they're all popping up basically at once.
Right. So but sometimes there's enough of a delay between where we actually see the number change multiple times in a second. So what happens if we've just got a whole bunch of these grasses? None of these are rolling a 20?
I mean, if it's a random number generator,
True. Yeah.
and I have to, no, I'm saying if I'm the one holding the joystick and I go in there, I guarantee you it's never hitting 20. It
All
would be
right.
like 1, 1, 1, 7,
So
1.
we're gonna reduce this down to 3.
Mm.
We're gonna make our D20 a D3, which, if you don't know, is basically a triangular prism.
I have one if you want me to grab it.
If you want to show off what it looks like.
Yeah, one sec.
Oh, yeah. I made a bunch of them.
Put my headphones on backwards. It was very confusing.
Although I feel like this isn't a fair try because we reduced the number. Maybe those are all random anyway. What you got there?
So that's the shape of a.
That's a D4.
Wait, no, this is a D4. This is a D4. Dang
D3s
it.
are D3s are not that common. You could roll a D6 and divide it by 2.
Yeah, I don't have a D3. Well,
D3
never mind.
is like a pencil, like a triangular pencil. You ever seen a
Oh, okay. Yeah.
triangular grip
So it's
pencil? It's that shape.
Okay. That would make sense.
Just a triangle, just 3 sides rolls over. Sometimes they might like taper the edges to points so that way you can't like, because technically a triangular prism has 5 sides because it's got the front, the top, and the bottom.
So you literally just roll it.
Yeah, end over end. It's the most boring die.
Or is it the most exciting? No, it's the most boring. He's right.
D2 is a coin, that's right, which is more exciting to me than a triangular prism.
When I used to work at the comic book store, we had this massive D100, and I hated that thing so much. Because some of the DMs would come in there and they just had to use it for something. It was one of those things, it never stopped rolling. And then when it finally did, it had crashed through multiple items before it had stopped. Game boards were always upset. And at the end of it, it was like, it's on 98. No, it's on 27. People would argue about what it was on because the actual like indicators were so small on this that it was hard to tell what it was actually on. Not a fan.
Okay, I've got a better idea for this experiment.
Okay. What are we gonna do?
A better way to test this. I'm not gonna use my. No, it's not better because I would be applying the rule to all of them at the same time. I'm just gonna space them out a little more evenly. We'll do them in clusters of 3. So that way when I hit them, we can know if 3 hearts appeared, then they all rolled the same thing, or if there was a difference. Because right now with it being so chaotic, it's kind of difficult to tell what's going on. So we'll hit these clusters of 3 and see if they all spawn at once, or if some are spawning and some are not spawning. So we want them to spawn kind of individually. So we're going to hit all those. We rolled a 1, rolled a 2. What?
Oh, I forgot you changed it to out of 3 instead of 20. And I was like, oh, Alex is rolling like me.
I don't know why it spawned over there, though. That was weird. it's spawning them where the first ones spawned, or the last one spawned. It's weird.
Now
Okay.
you're not.
It kind of works, but
It's a little janky, but it's
it's a step in the right direction. I feel like this can be massively improved upon. So let me get rid of those. We're gonna change that back to the 20. It is weird that it does it for the previous position. So I feel like we're missing something with despawning them if it's unsuccessful. So let's go back to gameplay. So if it's if it's less than 20, it should be despawning those things. Maybe the comparison duration should be all the time. I don't really like that idea. All right, if it's going to check if it's greater than or equal to 20. And it's going to roll for 20. All right, so let's check our rules here. We got the Healing Heart despawn, which that spawns. Oh, maybe this is spawning too late. Like it rolls the message.
A delay.
Yeah, I think it rolls the message, and then it's the next one that actually it does the spawning after or before the roll happens. Technically, there's just like
you mean before the next one.
So we hit the first blade of grass and it drops the spawner, but then the calculation of did it roll the 20 is happening before the spawner is in place to make the spawn happen. So I need a delay in order to make it
kind
so
of
that
picking up what you're throwing down.
This spawner isn't here when it checks the roll. It's too slow.
Okay.
So
how would you change that?
I need to have a delay in there somehow. So let's go back to our gameplay. Rules. Time. I mean, I don't really want to add an actual timer. I kind of just want to maybe I'll do like an animation thing, because you can use animated assets as a timer basically. Unless the comparison, I guess I could have the comparison duration be happening constantly.
Iverson Art says add time events behavior.
We'll see. Oh, except I deleted all my little grass samples.
Uh-oh.
It's this one here.
So you're setting that piece up with all the programming on it, and then you're just duplicating.
Yeah, for now. Eventually, I'll propagate the logic to all the grass, but
Well, I mean,
that's
I think it's great not having it on all of it either. Just having it on like 50% of it or whatever, because then you know for a fact that with 50% of the, at least 50% of it, they're not going to get anything out of it. That would be
that's
a way
true.
of balancing the plane for yourself.
We could have the logic be that would be a simpler um approach that would work. Um it's the
But
difference
that's not what we're trying to
between
do, though.
it's the difference between having it being oh, there's a word for this. Uh Deterministic or or based on probability. So if the whole system has randomness in it, then there's a chance that anything could happen with the spawning. When we
Mhm.
make it deterministic, we've determined ahead of time that a whole bunch of the grass can't spawn a heart. And then there's a chance that some of the grass could spawn a heart. So we could make it so only like, so we don't end up with double hearts, we could make it so only like one piece of grass in these bundles could potentially spawn a heart,
Mhm.
and it'll do that random roll, and then it would actually be pretty simple, like as far as we wouldn't end up with double spot heart spawning. um the randomness would be a little less heavy in the logic, I guess. um but then you've got a bunch of pieces of grass that could never spawn a heart, so maybe players will learn to like avoid those,
How would they know, though?
trying over and over and over again.
Oh, that's fair. Like, if you always get a null from X patch, oh, that would take so much time.
Never underestimate players.
I'm not.
Never,
That's why I
ever,
said it
ever.
with. That's why I said it the way I said it, because I could picture people actually going through that process in my head, and I was like, "Oh
You've
no."
sat here in agony as I go on for hours trying to do the same thing over and over. And even I think those people are crazy, but they do exist.
Never in agony. If I've ever been in agony, I've told you, "Hey, Alex, I need to go now because agony." And you say, "Okay."
Okay, I think we need to reduce the numbers again.
Hmm.
Um, Gameplay. So I think we're gonna wrap it up pretty soon here, though, because we've been going for 2 hours, and I think we're at like a good start with this system.
Yeah.
And then maybe before next stream, I can learn a few more things about how to get this working correctly. Okay, so we're gonna go with the 3 option. If you're looking to obtain catalysts, well, I believe, is it landowners who can win catalyst packs by playing in the current season greetings event?
There's a
I think
number of
that's
ways you can go about obtaining them. I mean, you could buy them off of secondary. You can earn them through a number of means. There, I believe, there are prizes in game jams
they are
for,
definitely a prize in the new
top.
game jam.
Yeah, so there's a number of ways that you can obtain said catalysts if you really want to, or if for any reason you need to.
All right, so having it sense continuously did not solve the spawning problem. So we do want to have a delay in there. So I think what makes the most sense is to have. There is a timer function in the gameplay rules, but I don't feel like it's the most efficient way to put a delay for this message going through. Um, because you have to set up the timers as like a variable and store that. And it's just kind of it's some extra steps there, which doesn't feel super efficient. Um, so what we could do is let's take we'll take the healing heart here, but not as a preset. We just want the prop. Or we'll take the golden heart, I guess. So that's got a pretty short animation loop. Oop, where'd my camera go? There it is. Now Byverson says something about a timer, timed events.
Time events send the message to rules with a 1-second delay.
Yeah, yeah, I guess that makes more sense than doing it as an animated decoration. I feel like there was some issue people were having with timed events, and I don't remember what it was now. But at least this way we can do it as a logic. We don't have to do it as a an animated asset that has extra stuff going on. Timed events. So we're gonna wait for the message. HCC rolled. And we're going to want it to reset afterwards. It's going to wait 1 second. Event name is, we'll just call it roll delay. Message that it broadcasts is going to be, can we send it to rules? We can send it to a tag. We have to relay it off of another asset. Let me see what the options are for the animated decoration, because I don't want to make another asset just to relay this message. It starts becoming like a long spaghetti string of logic. No need to tag. Okay, yeah, so if it's not going to a tag, the rule system is included in all, so it will actually get to the rule system that way. So so we're going to send hcc.delay. We don't need any sub events. And let's go back to our gameplay rules. And so after the delay, it's going to check if it needs to spawn or kill the spawner. Yeah, I was thinking something along the same runes, something along the same lines. Escape room artist, doing like multiple RNG on different, like different grasses could like give you different chances of stuff. But I also don't want to use too much of the grid on RNG for just the grass. I kind of like better the idea of having the RNG logic only on some of the grass, because then I could actually remove extra behavior from the other grass and make the game more lean. And then it, from the player perspective, like I said, there are people who are going to be like, huh, this blade of grass never gives any hearts, because there are people who are like that. but I think for the average player, it's not going to make a difference. Do I still have the set for 20? Did I move it to 3? I moved it to 3. Oh, okay. So after a delay, it did drop a heart. Rolled a 2. 2. A lot of 2s. Rolled a 3, spawned 2. Yeah. So I mean, I'll talk to my colleagues and see what they think about this drop system. What would be nice, and it probably is not going to be feasible. It would be nice to have the system like to use the arguments to where um uh when you destroy a piece of grass, its death message could have an argument of its position, where like you as a game creator, you don't have to actually fill in that data. The game does it automatically. This is a thing that doesn't exist, at least as far as I know, in the game maker, but could exist, is that it has an argument of the asset position when you kill it, and it runs that through the RNG and then spits out, is a heart going to spawn at that position? And so then it's a simple yes or no. And if it's a yes, then a heart gets spawned at that position based on that argument. That would be cool, but we would need more features to do that. As far as I know, there's no way to have position feed into any like the variables or messages or arguments. So I think for now, the plan for next week is going to be just selectively picking some pieces of grass that are too far apart to hit at the same time and give them the option of dropping a heart, and then leave all the other grass alone as just decorative. But if you're making a really big game, or a game that has procedural aspects to it, like if you have grass kind of spawning randomly around, then you're going to want that system to work collaboratively with the procedural aspect instead of having to manually assign which pieces of grass can give you health or not. So we'll continue this next week, but at least we got to see how to do a random roll, show it on the screen, and make an outcome from that. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. The coolest thing about all this in my book is this has all been on a template that was created and given away to everyone. And this whole time, all these experiments we've been doing has been on that plot, which just once again shows the versatility of the universe we're working in.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out. We're gonna go see if there's somebody we can raid. Ooh. And yeah, have a great rest of your week.
Give that a look-see.
We will be back on Saturday playing games, I guess.
We had mentioned wanting to play Rex Roach's game, and
yes.
there was a couple that we were talking about. So we'll have to dig back through the notes and figure that out. But yeah, I think we've got like 2 or 3 on the docket that we wanted to jump into.
I gotta finish up that EP right now for the event. All right. Well, everybody, you gotta remember to when we've been streaming for about 2 hours. We always said this show was an hour, and then we always went for 2 hours. I'm just gonna say our show's 2 hours long now. That's usually it's usually 2 hours. Sometimes we go to 3. So when 2 hours rolls around from our stream time, if you are interested in being a Sandbox streamer, just let us know and we'll raid you. All right. See you on Saturday, everybody. Have a great weekend. Or have a great weekend. Not yet.
Have a great week.
Have a great week. It's a long weekend.
It's been a long week.
Totally. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for stopping by.